We'll have a few short Q&A based on what you just delivered to us. Commissioner Kubilius, you said numerous times that Europe must spend more, spend better, and spend European. But as AI becomes the core defense infrastructure today, where do you see the largest execution gap? Is it technology readiness, procurement speed, coordination between the member states that you mentioned, or industrial scale? And most importantly, which of these gaps worries you most, and what is your most focus for the next 12, 18 months to actually tackle these gaps? Simple question.
Well, simple question, simple answer. Everything worries me. I would say, really, first of all, what I'm worried about transformation of mindset. And if, transformation of industries we understand how to do, and there are good lessons, for example, from Ukraine, on all the development of modern technologies and modern weapons. So the change of mindset on demand side among the governments, among our militaries, in my view, is changing much slower. So, and that can create for us big challenges when we're looking both into what we have now and what we shall have in the future. So, from that point of view, again, working together with Ukraine, learning from Ukraine, for us is very crucial.
Thank you for this one. Look, we all want here, and I'm sure you too, the strategic autonomy in defense and AI. But let's look at the stack. The cloud, the data, the models, most of it isn't European yet. So how do we play this? How do we find the balance between what we need and also how to support the entrepreneurs that are still in building it?
Well, that's, becoming very clear if we are really taking this responsibility to build European defense independence for conventional warfare, then we need to see what we need to have. And that is what we are putting into our very clear planning procedures, into defense readiness roadmap, where we need to plan not only what we need to build in order to be ready to deter the possibility of Russian aggression, but also what we need to build in order, during some period of time, I hope rational period of time, to replace some of American capabilities, which are now located in Europe, and which, we are very heavily dependent. I mean, first of all, strategic enablers, and which perhaps Americans will start to plan how to move those capabilities more and more towards Indo-Pacific, or let's say Western Hemisphere. And that is what they're speaking very clearly in the National Defense Strategy, which was published quite recently. So we need to have plans, we need to have enough of financial resources, we need to have high-tech and engineering quality, what we have, and we need to scale up, and in order to scale up, we need to overcome our fragmentation. So quite a small and simple agenda.
Yeah, and this is basically why we are here for, to solve this fragmentation by working together. Well, as you also mentioned, Ukraine has become a real-world testbed for the AI-enabled defense system, which are produced by the founders and SMEs, many in this room. But yet, Ukrainian defense and dual-use ecosystem remain underfunded. I just give you the numbers for last year. We just had 129 million investments in the whole Ukrainian ecosystem. It's just one round in the European drone company that happened last year, and many of those. So on one hand, and that means that we have largely disconnected from European capital instruments yet. So what is currently blocking this experience from being translated into European capability, industrial strategy, policy capital, or is it policy, capital instruments, or political risk appetite? So what is blocking us to actually fund those who are on the battlefield, inventing this innovation for us, but we still have no capability to fund them unless private sector is still doing it. So how we can solve this?
Well, definitely we need to develop new instruments which would support Ukrainian and European defense industry integration. Sometimes I'm asking myself for whom that integration is more needed, for Ukrainians or for Europeans, and I would rather answer quite often that for us it's really very much needed in order to learn and to be ready to defend ourselves. But that integration really demands some specific financial instruments, programming instruments, and they are coming. For example, now the new program, so-called European Defense Industry Program, EDIP, with new programming instruments. It also has a whole chapter on how to assist Ukrainian defense industry integration with the EU. Ukrainian defense industry can participate in development of so-called EDPCIs, which is European Defense Projects of Common Interest. Money into such program for time being is not a big one, but it will start to come with next MFF. In addition to that, now we have, and we're working very intensively to open the new program based on so-called Ukrainian loan, which means 90 billion in general for 2 years for Ukrainian, as financial support to Ukraine, but 60 billion of that will go for support of defense, and Ukrainian authorities will decide what they need, and that will be provided, including, high-tech and disruptive technologies. And the last point, really, we are looking also, as I said at the very beginning, this integration of Ukrainian and European industries is very crucial also for us, because simply we need to learn. And here Ukraine can be of very big assistance to us. So usually we're talking about how we as Europeans are assisting Ukraine. Now times comes when Ukraine can assist us. And together with Mikhail Fedorov, we created last summer the platform Brave Tech EU, which is exactly devoted to some kind of this cooperation where from both sides, startups, SMEs could work on a very tough agenda to deliver things which are needed immediately as a front line.
Thank you for sharing with us. Today we're going to have the investment panel, M&A panel, and we have the fund managers, European fund managers, actually bringing this up, how to get the funding for them to invest in the SMEs and the founders today. It's not only about Ukrainian funds they cannot raise, but even European funds have a hard time to raise capital in Europe to invest for the sake of all of us. So we still need to kind of push this much faster. I'm not sure if I have time. No? Okay. But we will have time today. Thank you, Commissioner Kubilius.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you for joining us and be part of our ecosystem.